Welcome back to No B.S Mortgage Advice. My name's Brad East. Today we're going to be talking about the 4 most common mistakes that first home buyers make. Now, we'll get straight into it. The first one is not budgeting or not knowing what you can afford. We see this a lot, and especially over the last few years when we had clients coming into an interest rate market that was around that 1.99-2% sort of range. They were budgeting based on repayments at 2%. Now we're sitting in a market where it's 6.5%. So not really, forecasting any of those rate rises or really stress testing what they can afford in any market. So my biggest advice for anyone wanting to purchase their first home, look, we're at the top of an interest rate cycle at the moment, so you'd hope to think this is the worst that it's going to get in a long time. But add a couple of percent to the interest rate when you calculate how much you can afford each week. So current rate's around 6.5%. Calculate what it would mean to you if the rates are around 8.5%, and then see if you can actually live on that. So I would suggest even pulling that amount out if you're living at home, or even if you're renting, pull the difference out. So if you're saving $500 a week, pull an extra $350 out or whatever to match that, what those repayments would be, and try and live on that amount for a month or so before you commit. So that just gives you, a bit more of a understanding of what life will be like when you do have that mortgage and if rates do increase by that 2% or whatever it's going to be. Now, the next one is falling in love. So we see this a lot with first home buyers. They'll go to a house, they'll walk through it, and they absolutely fall in love with the property. Then what happens is they tend to ignore the advice from other people because they're just in love with it. I guess it's like, some shitty relationships where you got your best friend telling you it's crap, but you're just ignoring it because you're in love. So same happens with houses where they're ignoring the pest and building report. They're ignoring what other people are telling them because they just love the place. Really try and make, as hard as it is, try and make smart decisions when you're buying your house. If there's something wrong with it, what's it going to cost you? What's it going to cost long term? Don't fall in love with it straight away. There are other houses out there. You're not going to miss out. There is plenty of houses to go around. You will find something. So just be very smart in your decisioning. Now, another one that I see a lot of, especially during COVID when prices were going crazy and houses were getting sold almost instantly, is listening to parents a little bit too much. Now, a lot of the time your parents had purchased 20 or 30 years ago when the market was completely different. So we see a lot where dad or mum will walk through the house and go, oh, this isn't worth that, this isn't worth that. So they're creating a bit of a roadblock. You're going out to look at open homes and you've got dad telling you every house you go to see is a piece of shit and you shouldn't buy it. You're never going to purchase if you, are committed too much to that process. You need to have your own decisioning in there and really push back a little bit and say, yes, dad, or yes, mum, I understand that it's not as great as a, $1.2 million house, but that is why it's worth $650. I'm willing to work on it, build that equity and go from there. So that we do see a lot of that in the market where, your parents or whoever's giving you that advice does have your best interest at heart. They're not trying to scare you or stop you from buying a property, but don't use that as your sole decision making. Now, the last one that we'll talk about is not considering your long-term goals when you're purchasing a place. So a lot of people, they do want to buy an investment property or do want to upgrade or downgrade. Now, to do that, a lot of the time, to buy an investment property, you're going to need equity. So buying an apartment versus buying a house, apartments don't build equity as quick as a house does, because land itself goes up in value, the building goes down. So if you're sharing that value with 50 or 60 apartments, the capital growth in that apartment is going to be a lot less than if you purchased a house. So really consider those long-term goals. Do you want to grow a portfolio, or you're happy just renting that house out and saving another deposit for an investment property at a long term? Really think about what your goals are there and match that up with what you want to do and where you purchase. There's an old saying that you're better off buying the shittest house in the best suburb or the worst house in the best suburb rather than the best house in the worst suburb. That is completely true. You don't want to buy the massive mansion in a really crappy suburb. Buy the bad house in the best suburb because you've got so much potential to renovate and really build that equity. So thanks for joining us today. They're just some 4 common mistakes that we see a lot of. If you've liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button and share that with everyone. Thank you.